In San Diego County, California, surveys have shown more teens smoke marijuana than tobacco. It's also the #1 reason kids enter drug treatment. So anti-drug groups are trying to counter the marijuana culture.
When I started smoking marijuana, my grades just went down. You know, I wasn't a brilliant student in the first place, but I was like a C student. I was getting by. Once I started smoking marijuana, I went down to a D and F student. It took me 10 years to get out of high school.
Today's pot is not the same as the stuff John Byram smoked. The THC content is much higher, but it's still as popular as ever.
It's very prevalent. We see it in the high schools. I supervise the school resource officers, and probably a third of the arrests, even I'd say a half of the arrests they make, are for possession of marijuana on campus, and that's at the high school and junior high school level. A lot of kids are showing up at school either stoned or showing up and then getting stoned once they're there.
So coalitions in the county got together and created HARM, Health Advocates Rejecting Marijuana.
Mostly we want to kind of push back at the norms that exist for teenagers that marijuana is harmless. We all come from different coalitions and agencies, but we all meet together in behalf of this countywide initiative.
It made sense. It allowed for us all to collaborate on issues and the best use of our resources, whether it's law enforcement or data collection. But we're all bringing it all together under one roof as we meet monthly, and we're letting each other know what we're seeing in our communities. And from that, we derive countywide strategies, and it's really been effective.
HARM has 5 major policy campaigns with the overall goal of reducing youth marijuana use, limiting accessibility, and changing the perception that marijuana is harmless. The Head Shop campaign, designed to control and reduce the number and placement of retail shops that sell drug paraphernalia. The Retailers campaign, with the goal of restricting distribution and sale of items in stores that encourage marijuana use. The Special Events and Outdoor Venues campaign, to restrict distribution and sale of items promoting pot use and prohibit marijuana use at family events. And there are campaigns to address media normalization and dispensaries.
Probably one of our first efforts was addressing smoke shops and head shops that sell drug paraphernalia and pro-marijuana items.
The Head Shop campaign is personal for John Byram.
When I was 13 years old, I walked into my first head shop down in San Diego, and it changed the way I thought about drugs. I walked in there and look, they got the whole place is for marijuana. Marijuana must not be so bad. And so when I got into the business of prevention, that was one of the first things I wanted to tackle.
Since anti-head shop operations began, many stores have shut down and others have stopped selling drug paraphernalia.
I didn't see anything illegal. We had served a search warrant there probably 2 or 3 months ago now, and seized about 7,200 items of contraband out of it. The owner was issued a citation for sales of drug paraphernalia, and from what I understand, he actually recently pled guilty.
Laws prohibit the sale or display of drug paraphernalia, but there is a very gray area.
Where the legal issues come up is what is considered drug paraphernalia. Is a bong actually drug paraphernalia, or is it made to smoke something else out of? Well, when you look at these items, you know, the people in the stores are obviously going to say, oh no, these are for tobaccos, and they'll have signs up saying, you know, these pipes are to be used for tobacco only. Well, when you look at it, I've known a lot of smokers in my life, and I have never known a smoker to smoke tobacco or any type of legal substances out of a 4-foot-high blown glass bong. It just doesn't happen.
Some stores law enforcement busted still take their chances selling items like bongs and pipes. This one in a busy shopping center still had many items on display in the window, and it's right next to a nutritional store for children.
Well, the kids see these stores. They've been told in schools that drugs are bad. Their parents are teaching them that drugs are bad. They need to stay away from drugs. And yet, when they come here with their parents to get their food, then they're walking past stores that are selling things that are clearly for drugs. And it's kind of giving them a mixed message there. Well, are drugs okay or are drugs not okay? Which way is it? If drugs aren't okay, then why are we selling these things?
The message at the annual 420 Remix event is crystal clear. You don't need marijuana to have fun. The The North Coastal Prevention Coalition began the event several years ago, and it's always held on April 20th, 420.
420 Remix is one of our signature events, and essentially what it is 420 is recognized in popular culture as a sort of unofficial marijuana smoking holiday. About 6 years ago, high school in Carlsbad was realizing that a lot of kids, April 20th was their first day that they would smoke marijuana, and the kids that were in treatment for marijuana use were actually relapsing on that day. So what they did was they started putting together a kind of a carnival type atmosphere where kids can go and have a healthy and positive day away from drugs and really celebrate the idea of being sober and drug free.
Well, hopefully if they come to our event on April 20th, they're getting a positive message and realizing that they can have fun without marijuana. A big part of having the event on April 20th, though, is just to get past that day because there's such a strong association of smoking marijuana on that particular day. So kids that may not have smoked marijuana any other day, if they get through April 20th, they might not be thinking about it as much on April 21st.
So after school on April 20th, 2009, kids braved 100-degree heat at Boomer's Entertainment Complex in Vista, California.
When the kids came here today, they got to participate in bumper boats, go-karts, miniature golf, laser tag. They also got free reign of the video arcade. So they had full run of the entire facility today, and we had a lot of people out here having a good time.
Information booths lined the walkway as people came in, but that's about it as far as anti-drug messaging is concerned, and that's by design.
We try not to be too preachy. We just want to tell them that, hey, you know what, there's a very important message here, and the important message is that it's better to be sober and drug-free, and that's going to give you a lot of opportunity in your life. So we just kind of peppered the message throughout the day, little bits here and there, but we don't want to be preachy. We don't want to tell them, hey, you know, you're bad if you do this, you're evil if you do that, but it is a bad choice to make.
But one day of fun does not accomplish all of the goals of HARM and NCPC.
We recognize that single one-time events aren't the only thing that we need to do in our community to prevent marijuana use. So that's our one annual big event, but all of our other strategies are implemented year-round.
The retailer campaign kicks into high gear around the time kids are getting ready to go back to school.
We go to every mall in the county and hit every store, and we assess them for which stores are selling pro-drug merchandise, and we call it drugware. And then we send all the retailers a letter asking them to stop. They're given time to meet with us and pull them. If they do not pull them, they are listed on our offender list at our media event, where we air which shirts and educate the parents, because a lot of times parents don't know what the phrases mean.
Hosford says many retailers are responsive, pulling items off their shelves and removing them from their stores.
We see less drugware shirts. Every year we do the campaign, every time we do the media event, we find less and less, which to us means we're doing a good job. The first year we did it, we had dozens and dozens of shirts. This year, we've only got a dozen. That's a sign that we're doing a good job and that we're getting the word out.
HARM is also trying to stop street vendors from selling drugware and paraphernalia at street fairs.
They're family venues, and there's children and youth that see this for sale, obviously thinking in their formative years that drug use is acceptable and normal if adults allow this. We have seen lots of merchandise usually associated with marijuana use, promoting it, pictures of people with joints and actually smoking, really a fun, festive atmosphere that just tells kids this is wonderful, this is fun, and there's nothing that depicts what true addiction looks like on any of this merchandise.
HARM has asked concert and street fair promoters to insert language into vendor contracts prohibiting the sale of pro-drug items.
Everyone that we've brought that to has been very comfortable with it and inserted it.
Seeing kids enjoy themselves without using drugs is a goal, but leaders of HARM say they know they face an uphill battle counteracting the people who say marijuana is harmless.
I've been that other side. I've been that guy that wanted it all legal, and now I'm on this side seeing what I used to be and seeing the lies I used to say. It wasn't until I got clean that I really understood what was going on. I want the truth out there that this drug is not harmless. It causes major problems. I don't want it legalized.
So thanks to the work of HARM and its member coalitions, San Diego County is getting quite a reputation.
Happy to say San Diego County is known as being hostile to marijuana. So that's a good thing for our children and youth.